laughing.
Then you laugh.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's organic. It's part of the flow. Okay.
Oh, you're giving me anxiety. You're giving me anxiety.
It's this crystal. I swear it's the crystal. It's redder than my heart.
I feel like I'm bouncing off the wall.
Always thinking.
Hi, this is Christina Dam, and this is Liberate the Podcast, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness.
No, it's running. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun. So, welcome to Deep Cuts. I am Lani, and I am a hypnotist and NLP practitioner here at Liberate Hollywood. And over here is my good friend Kimberlie.
Hi, I'm Kimberlie. I'm also an energy healing practitioner here at Liberate. And yeah, I guess Lani and I have some interesting banter on spirituality to share.
Yeah, we're going to talk about stepping into your power, essentially.
Your divine power, of course.
Or power, you know. Divine power. Or power. Or divine power. Whatever,
It's your god or goddess aspect.
whatever you believe in. So I feel like that means a lot of different things, really. So I'm trying to think of what stepping into your power means to me. And essentially, I think if I were to look at my life and where I am at the moment, being a practitioner, it's taking a while, like to feel comfortable in that, like to acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm a practitioner and I'm interested in helping others and serving, and it's required a lot of stepping out of my comfort zone, and I think that's what a lot of it means to me. Like stepping into your power means stepping outside of your comfort zone and to acknowledge what you want to do and to believe in yourself and have trust in that process. And that's a little bit of what I think it means. And to me especially is stepping out of your comfort zone, having faith or trust in yourself and in your process and whatever you do in life, really. Like, we're practitioners here, so obviously like that has to do with many aspects of it. Believing that we can help others, so that's a little bit of my take on things. What about you, Kimberlie?
Well, interestingly, I guess, so I kind of consider this to be the path. Mm-hmm. And Lani and I both started here actually around the same period of time. Mm-hmm. Should I be talking to you? Yes. We started here. Both. Oh, yes. We started here around the same period of time. Yeah. And I found that we were also like energetically around the same place in our development spiritually, which is why I thought this topic was kind of apropos. Because we're both people who have a very strong lineage and innate background and like advanced souls in spirituality and in our divine power. And by that I mean support system from the divine, connection with the divine, that's been cultivated through many lifetimes. The irony or the flip side of that, the conundrum, my favorite word, is we got here and both of us felt, let's find the right word, a little bit like blocked. And we all know what that means when there's something you want so bad and it's just not happening. Yeah. It creates a block, a feeling of, a resistance, because if it's something that we didn't really want, we wouldn't really care. There wouldn't be an element of resistance. So to me, and what I deal with my work with clients, and she and I speak about every day almost practically with our own selves, is helping them to transform or transmute energetically their blocks into their greatest like passion. It's the path. So, which is, basically spiritually why we're here. So for us, up until this point in time, like stepping into our power and whatever way that means, it could be for me just sitting here with you doing this podcast because it's not something I would normally do. But, being of service in whatever way this is aligning is wonderful. And it opens up a little bit more space and reduces a little bit more resistance. So that's when energy flows, and we all know that.
Yeah, I think it's cool because we have like a different take on that, stepping into power, because you see more of, like, Kimberlie's like really intuitive, so you're really intuitive, and you kind of see like the larger picture, and I'm kind of more, I don't want to say human based, but like I'm very cognizant of my limitations and my abilities, and figuring out how to like wade through life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, so it's like a nice balance of that, because you can see like the broader picture, and then I'm kind of like, all right, like here we are, like on a daily basis.
Aquarian Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like life right now, right here, life overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But interestingly, which makes this really beautiful balance of kind of stepping into one's own power, which I think everyone can relate to in their own way. And I feel like it's something you do by making small choices every day on a daily basis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. Like small choices.
Easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah. I mean, it can feel hard in the times where you're actually making a kind of a leap, like, us doing this podcast or whatever. It's like, you take that leap, but when I think about it, and I don't know how you are with meeting people and the interactions you have, but there's been a lot of people I've met over the years who are very comfortable with like the status quo. Like they want to stay in their comfort zone. They don't want any big changes. And, they want kind of like a simple life, which is great if that's like, what you're into. But if you really have a goal, like certain goals in life, and you really want to like reach your fullest potential, it's going to require like, overcoming those like blocks or obstacles that you have, and often, making, tough decisions about, or making decisions that will be uncomfortable for you. It's like, but you had that choice. What choice do you want to make? You know what I mean?
Choice. Something that's been coming up a lot in my life and with people close to me is, I don't want to throw the word free will and make it a metaphysical, like philosophical discussion, but the ability to choose when that does arise, because often we feel like we don't have a choice. I know we've all been there in our life and can easily pinpoint a moment where we're like, I had no choice, or things just happen to us. But it's like, I think part of stepping into our power is making a choice.
Yeah.
Even if at that moment we're not sure what to choose and worry it's not the right choice. Just this sheer act of making a choice is empowering.
Yeah, and also being accountable for that choice.
Oh yeah.
Not like if you make a choice and it goes awry, not blaming others. Being like, okay, I made this choice and maybe it backfired or it worked out.
Well,
but
according to who?
Yeah.
Backfired.
Yeah. True.
Like, we know we're going to be kind of silly in this, and that's okay. That's our choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, in this sense, I should have, maybe I shouldn't have used backfired. Fine, Kimberlie. But I mean, in the sense, like, some people would view that, like, oh, I made a wrong decision. It's not a wrong decision, because everything, even failures, you get feedback from. It's all the path. Yeah, like, failures are feedback. That's all it is. It's like a learning lessons. So it's making certain choices that you want in life and in order to achieve your goals, really. I mean, that's essentially kind of what it is. And stepping into your power by being accountable, by making those choices, by choosing to, put the work in to overcome obstacles in your life, by stepping out of your comfort zone and by seeing the bigger picture for yourself and moving forward.
It's a more expansive level of awareness. Something that I've been working on personally is for a few years, and it's just another level of a journey I've been working on my whole life, is the concept of identity. And I know this is kind of the root to do with stepping into your power and identity, which as some of us know, it resides in the solar plexus, and also the navel center energetically. But it has to do with like even just being able to identify with who am I? Who am I? Who am I truly? Not who someone thinks I am or who I believe I should be according to a certain way I was raised or what society believes, or what LA determines I should be in LA to be successful or important or liked. But who am I really? And I know that's kind of like going deep really fast, but that's the essence.
Yeah.
And when it came to even working here at Liberate, like I enjoyed purely working in service and like basically for free.
Yeah.
And it gives me the most amount of fulfillment in my heart. But there was a level of where that was imbalanced. And like, again, like you said, with, failures, lessons, it's all about balance. So being of service is beautiful as long as it's balanced with also, being in your personal power and accepting who you are. And if I choose to work as a healing practitioner, and that's what I truly do want inside, and that's my path, to also allow that to come forth without, needing to criticize myself or feeling not good enough. And this came out in a myriad of ways of like even is, I don't know, I guess I'm going there, but I feel comfortable talking to you about this. And we've already talked about this before. Like, just, I would forget how to introduce myself. You're like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I work as a healing practitioner, alternative health. And they're like, what? I'm like, I work as a healer. Oh, it was like so afraid to just like grab it.
Yeah, to say like, I'm a healer.
Yeah. I don't even know what it was being afraid of. It's like, it's not even just not being good enough or not accepted. It was just being ready for what that means. But it was so relevant. And I think when we both started working here at the beginning of the year, which has almost been 6 months now, it's been a journey to this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. And even that word identity has so much like weight to it. It can mean,
I know. It's a life journey.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think of sometimes when I think of identity, I think of values more. Like what is important to me? You know what I mean? And it's those values that's underlying the identity that sort of helps you define what your identity is, if that makes sense. Finding the roots behind that identity. Like, oh, service. Like I want to serve. I want to connect to others. I'm somebody that likes to connect. That my values are connection and growth and love and, things like that. So what you do externally, whether it's, if you consider that job that you have or things like that, that might necessarily not be your identity, but like the values that are there, that exist.
That we cultivate.
Yeah, that will exist throughout your life and in different capacities and different things you do. That's like your values to me, or like your true identity, like what you hold or cherish.
That's our dharma.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, like when we were talking about this a week or two ago too, about like on the spiritual path and the spiritual journey, and we work in a spiritual community, so we'll have different types of challenges arise that can seem so, I don't know, ephemeral and esoteric and confusing sometimes to people. You can't always go out into the world and at a cocktail party and be like, going through this spiritual transformation right now, and be like, look at us, like, I don't know what you're talking about. But here we have a community where we can share this stuff and everyone's relating to it. But it's like, we expect things to either be awful or great, and that will kind of determine, this isn't done yet, or I'm not there yet, or I'm not successful enough, I don't have enough clients, or making this amount of money, it's my goal amount. But I think it's like,
it's really external stuff.
Yeah, the dharma is when, to me, it's something I work on, or I'm within my life, is it's that thread that pulls through the center and leads you from your karmic journey, which is really just balancing out lessons that tend to repeat over and over, into, I guess, more of a flow where you're not always having to learn the hard way and repeat things, but you're kind of learning new things. I guess that would be essentially what stepping into your divine power, and I use the word divine again because it's like spiritually guided.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think
it's
we're still
pretty cool.
We're still like trudging through that that path a little bit in some ways.
My karmic path.
So I just maybe some people are just trudging through that path then, just me.
It's always karmic and dharmic. It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We've all seen in, the collective and our daily life what happens with power when it's, excessive or out of control. A lot of times people in the spiritual community often will hear power and be like, ooh, no, that's not what I want. That's egoic, or I stay like away from that.
Guru mentality and like.
Yeah, and that's not what it is at all. It's actually, it's empowering, and I think it's a super important lesson and theme. And I know that's something I think we'll see collectively emerging more, but it's going to be way different than we think it is. It's not going to have to do with people making tons of money or controlling others or being leaders in the way we've always seen. It's going to have to do more with balance,
humanity, I think, too,
and people
equality.
coming together.
Connection.
As a group.
Yeah. Because it's how divisive is this country
Integrating.
right now. Yeah, our country's so divisive politically in every way, shape, or form. So it's like we have to get a common ground.
Yeah.
To realize it's like we're all kind of one. There's a universality. And it's like that's what's really the common denominator. And like we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people think of stepping into power, like as something that's more insidious than it is. And it can just be simply things like, stepping into power could be different for everyone. It could just be speaking your truth, speaking your mind, like
accepting someone else for their perceived flaws or differences than us.
Yeah.
Expectations. We all go through this on a daily basis repeatedly and over. Yeah. We're given the opportunity to empower ourselves without needing to control another and change another. Oh my gosh, this is so important. Whoa.
Yeah. We're humans. We can be judgmental. So it's stepping outside of yourself to recognize humanity, recognize cultivating, being non-judgmental and things like that. Because I think power has been that term has been so misconstrued and tainted.
It's triggering,
Yeah, and to what it really essentially is about, I think.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we've had to discover what it isn't and to strip down. I find a lot of times my spiritual journey and coming here and even meeting each other and going through classes together and working together and serving together as healers, we've found through being what we don't want by, if that makes sense. Does that make sense what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, I think a lot of people decide what they want by first figuring out what they don't want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or going
it's just
through
the long way around.
Yeah.
It's we'll wait for our payday for a while while everyone else is booking. We'll wait. Right? Because we have to do it not the hard way, but
our way though. You have to.
I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little I don't want to throw the word morality or ethics in it, but it's our own set of standards.
Yeah, I think it's learning the lessons. I think sometimes you can't just jump 5 million leaps when you haven't learned the fundamentals,
Right.
Gone through it to really appreciate where you're headed in the long run.
Yeah.
That makes sense? I don't know.
Yeah. I also feel that has to do with people who have had a lot of past lives and are, advanced souls. And that word, basically, what I mean is just have had many lifetimes of trying to achieve something. And we come back and we tend to enter into our life as a newborn with the same karma we left previously. Yeah. So the lessons will become very familiar and deeply ingrained. So it's almost like we're not just dealing with this at a surface level. It goes back. So it's just, it's something that's very rooted and sometimes even hard to pinpoint.
So are you basically saying we have a lot of baggage? Should probably have a lot of baggage. Thanks. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of true.
A lot of responsibility.
I prefer that term.
I think a lot of responsibility, or the sense of a lot of responsibility, even if not even sure why we feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think people will relate to that too, especially if you're watching this because you're familiar with Liberate and you're interested in spiritual topics. That feeling of having, the collective burden of like the planet, society, what's happening in the world, your family, your friends, that feeling of responsibility for what's going on, even if you're not so sure why. It has to do with, having a lot of lifetimes where needing to step into our power, but understanding what that is.
Yeah, and I feel like that can also come in the form of fear, like just having a lot of fear of like, fearing for the world, for like what's going to happen to our environment and things like humanity, but also having fear about like change in your life, like moving forward in your life, and like being scared of that. It's that responsibility, but I think it also comes up in like a sense, an emotion, or a sensation of fear a lot of the times as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's all intertwined. I think we were just talking today, or I was talking about in a meditation today about when we let go of, it's ironic or paradoxical, when we let go of control is the moment that we tend to step into our truth, which people, and I speak for myself, of course, like I can be very monitoring. I need to monitor the situation on many levels, and I feel like if I don't, who will?
Right.
And I take that responsibility and the burden of monitoring it, but it's a control, it's an aspect of control, not going with the flow, and again, to go to another level, to trusting in our divine guidance,
And I think when we often attempt to control, it's almost like a form of desperation, because we fear like we're not going to get what we want. Like, oh, this is like our idea of what we want, and we might not get it, so we kind of cling to it. But by doing that, like controlling it and having that sort of desperation, that's when we're repelling it, because like that's not attractive to anyone. Yeah. So the moment we sort of let go and surrender,
nobody wants to be controlled.
Yeah. The moment we let go and surrender, and we're like, free will and all of that, it becomes more enticing, like to the other person, or even a situation, like even if it were like a job or something, like you want that job so bad that you're like desperate in need of it, but like if you kind of just like let go of that desperation, then it actually might present itself to you, because you're like, it's just that lesson that you sort of have to learn in that moment of like control doesn't ever work. In that sense.
Can never control anything outside of ourselves. We must select our thoughts, our emotions. It sounds like complicated and unusual, but it's empowering.
Yeah. I think people forget, but contentment is work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we have a negativity bias in our brain. Like we hang on to anything that's, anything that someone says insensitively to us, or if we're got hurt feelings, or
it's not
anything
good enough.
We that's what we hang on to.
High expectations for self. High expectations for others.
Yeah. So if we have that negativity bias, which exists, it's known. We have that because of the tribe, when we were tribal people and we didn't want to like be thrown out of the tribe. So if we know we have that in our brain, it's like, we have to work towards being content. Like it's sort of like a job, because we have to kind of speak kindly of ourselves, speak more gently,
hold ourselves in compassion.
Yeah, and we don't typically do that as people, I don't think.
No, it can feel very vulnerable, awkward, unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we tend to like shy away. And again, this has to do with choices that are empowering. And they're not easy because they're not something that is really taught to us. As young people, we seek a spiritual community, meditation, mindfulness, therapy to be able to like come to terms with who we are and how to connect within ourselves. And it's kind of ironic because, we're grown up with showing everything we're doing wrong, everything that's not good enough, not even it's just the way, anyone who's grown up in like the United States is experienced at some point what's right and what's not. So it's kind of like, we grew up with a massive feeling of lack and not good enough. And some of us will waver into like, trying hard for someone else, but it's not empowering.
Yeah.
It takes them away from who they are, their true self. I think it's an important topic, and I don't think we have answers because there's no answers.
And I think you said something important. You were talking about like connecting within, and I think oftentimes, you just look around us, like a lot of people are external. You want the car, you want the house, you want this, the nice wardrobe, and we're always constantly externalizing. But empowerment is really learning to connect within, like learning to like have that expanded consciousness and accessing some sort of spirituality within and awareness. And that's really when you engage in that, that's when you really learn about yourself as a person.
Yeah.
It's not like the flash all around you, but it's really connecting inwards, and in any way that you do that, that's important. And that's where you kind of start. That's like I feel like the beginning steps of actually stepping into your power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was thinking, I don't know if I heard this in a poem or a book or where, but it was just coming up recently or like yesterday, kind of like, at the end, we find ourselves back where we began. And we meet ourselves for the very first time.
I like that.
And it's just like, I don't think anyone has any plan or expectations or like success, like predestined for us. It's our own journey that we planned for ourselves, and we're constantly learning along the way. That's why coming to Liberate and investigating your spiritual aspect, your divine self, like through healings, meditations, is so empowering and important, because through these techniques and these good habits, we are able to more fully become aware of who we are and how to do that naturally, innately. It's really cool. We kind of, we can see it in people we know, maybe in society, at the end of our life, we become children again. I don't know, it's like so beautiful, everything else is stripped away, and all that matters again is like the inner child and just peace and love. And
it's more, I think it's the simplicity of things. Like we complicate and we're so serious about so many different things, but really I think it's about like breaking all that down and just getting like the simple pleasures in life and like the simple aspects of that, as opposed to like what we do to things. We can easily complicate everything, every aspect of our life.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. I think we said as much as we can on this topic
without going into tangents and stuff, which would be fun, but I don't know.
We can easily do that. But
I think, we could even like have a month and revisit this topic and see, because there's always deeper levels and layers, and it's a path. It carries on vibrationally in a spiral as we become closer to our true self, our divine nature.
I just want to do this now.
That's a such a symbol. If you ever see that, it's the way energy.
This is how we end it. Folks,
Oh, we both work here. And we're really nice.
But Kimberlie, where can people find you?
Liberate Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I do energy healing private sessions. I have meditation called The Soul's Path. Mondays and Fridays at 5:30. We meditate together through doing a tantric technique. It's really beautiful. We go to the 0 point field. It's very high vibration. You leave totally blissed out. Yes. And everyone should come down and join.
And do you have a website?
I do. My personal business is called The Unmanifest Energy, something I've been working on for a few years. I do many different forms of energy healing, and I work remotely with animals. I clear space, like businesses, office, home, so that we're not just energetically clean as a person or as a body, but also the space we inhabit. If you're an animal lover and you have a companion animal, it is incredibly important to get healing either as a pair or individually. It will change the life for the better. And then, you can reach out to either of us here, to me here. I just have a Facebook page, The Unmanifest Energy, or The Unmanifest Reiki is what it is right now. I've kind of expanded a little bit. Always learning new things. But
always expanding.
Always expanding.
And you can find me here at Liberate Hollywood on Mondays and Fridays from 4 to 9 when I'm here for clients. Or you can also find me here on Tuesdays for my weekly meditation at 3 p.m. called Hypnotic Mind Your Mind. And we're also both here on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. for the Pranic Healing Clinic.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. So
it's a donation-based service to the community.
Donation-based service.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
We're exhausted at the end of the night. But yeah, and you can find me also on my website, LaniBuess.com. Also on Instagram at Lani B Change Agent, and also Liberate Hollywood's website. So those are various ways you can reach us. But yeah, you slayed it today, Kimberlie. Very eloquent. I just felt like you did a great job.
Is it still recording?
It is. But we'll just tell them to stop it.
If you enjoyed this conversation, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want some more amazing resources on your path of liberation, head over to liberateyourself.com and sign up for our mailing list. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram at Liberate Hollywood, all one word, or Liberate Emporium, all one word. Until next time, liberate yourself.